Is dead. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, a phrase repeated throughout much of his work. But its meaning is not as clear or as literal as it first appears. Nietzsche wanted to argue that as the Western world had culturally shifted away from faith towards rationalism and science, a reliance on religious morality was no longer needed. He wrote Beyond Good and Evil in 1886 to challenge previous philosophers whose philosophies, he thought, were little more than projections of their own personalities. Nietzsche believed that different societies are likely to have different moralities, and therefore different perceptions of good and evil. He believed we must look beyond good and evil to entertain the idea that both extremes, and the variance in between, may be part of being human. There is no absolute truth. This fluid morality and ever-changing influence contradicted Kant's categorical imperative, which implied that we ought to act according to a universal law. Nietzsche believed that there was no universal law. He also challenged utilitarianism, the belief that we should act to promote the greatest amount of happiness for the greatest number of people. Nietzsche believed that everything that makes life worthwhile was born from hardship, suffering, and discipline, not from happiness. Take the game of chess, a game based on a system of rules that has evolved over time. If the chess players understood that the rules were not objective, they might be inclined to change them to suit their own advantages. We could expect to see such changes that would serve the interests of those who authored them. A weak player who lacked strategic intelligence might decide to introduce more luck into the game and reduce its complexity. A player playing black might decide that black should go first instead of white. A quick-minded person with little patience might suggest introducing a time limit, 1 minute to make your move. Nietzsche would argue that this proves Kant's categorical imperative would not work. Everyone holds different views about what chess rules should be implemented, so a universal rule wouldn't work. But utilitarianism wouldn't work either. In chess, there is a winner and a loser. If the aim was to make both chess players happy, the game would no longer be a game anymore. Most controversially, Nietzsche opposed the whole idea of Christian morality. He saw its stress on charity and kindness as a celebration of weakness. If we apply this to the chess game, pitying your opponents certainly wouldn't help you win the game. Nietzsche has had an undeniably profound influence on the 20th century philosophy, and many of his insights were decades before his time.